Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Career Cafe series, Careers in Cybersecurity. We are really fortunate to have some individuals from Old Dominion University with us here today. I first want to introduce Lenora Jorgensen. She is the first-year Student Success Advisor at ODU. And then we also have Jakeem Gibbons, who is a sophomore in the cybersecurity program at ODU that's going to share some information with us about his experience from a student perspective as well. Also, my name is Mrs. Edwards. I'm the career counselor both at Lee and Patrick Henry High Schools. And we have Mr. Jared Collier today here as well, serving as career counselor for both Mechanicsville and Hanover High Schools. So with that, Lenora, I am just going to go ahead and hand it over to you to get us started. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, and I'm going to pre-apologize. We have got some furry co-presenters that are excited for the presentation also. So I might be fighting them throughout my talk. So I am Lenora Thorbjornsson. I work at Old Dominion University, and my background is actually counseling. So I went to college for career counseling, actually, but for college students. So I work as an academic advisor, which is kind of similar to your guidance counselor and your career counselor on campus. And my role is to help all first-year students transition into the university and make sure that we're down the right pathway in terms of major and career fit. So the first thing I like to talk about is beginning with the end in mind. And this is before you even get to college if you decide to go to a college or university. Just like a road trip, a cross-country road trip is easier to plot out if we know our destination. Even if we don't know the city, but we can figure out the state, your college career, your career pathway is easier to pre-plan and prepare for if we've got an idea of where we're heading, even if we haven't quite settled that yet. So with where you guys are, we're in the process, or should be in the process, of generating possibilities. We kind of want to approach your career exploration like a sculptor with a block of marble. So they start off with one big piece of marble that we carve down into a nice pretty statue. We don't start off with an arm and a leg and stick them together. So what we want to do is figure out what your block of marble looks like, and then carve that into your career. In particular, with the fields of cybersecurity, there are so many thousands of things that you could do here. Some that are very similar, some that are extremely dissimilar, that it's ever more important to figure out which pathway in which area of cyber is the right fit for you. So at ODU, we approach cybersecurity from what we call an interdisciplinary standpoint. And if you read about the field, you'll notice that interdisciplinary, which literally just means a bunch of different disciplines or fields of study, is the best way to approach some of these big picture ideas. So when you guys think about cybersecurity, I know the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is usually hackers, right? Hacking, cyber attacks, cyber warfare. So that is certainly a component of the field. But if you think about the implications of some of those things, social implications, political implications, financial implications, the idea of securing health records or even your student records, cybersecurity touches just about every aspect of our lives these days. And because of that, there are jobs in just about every aspect of our lives related to cyber. So I do like to present that early, so we know if you're not a heavy math and science person, sometimes that does shy students away from studying cybersecurity. But there are a number of really interesting areas of this field as related to human factors with psychology or cybercrime in our criminal justice department that are not as strict in the math, science, and programming requirements. And they're great ways to bridge an interest in cyber safety with natural skills and abilities. So when we discuss career and major exploration, we are trying to do just that, match interests, skills, and abilities. So it's sort of like this perfect storm. And one place I like to start with all of our students is figuring out what those interests and skills are. So the two assessments that I generally send students to are completely free. I'm all about free. So My Majors is an online tool that links your personal interests, your responses to questions, your feelings about different subjects to specific majors of study. What the ONET profiler does, and I'll have links to these in the PowerPoint for each of you. If you review the slides afterwards, or if you do review the presentation after Ms. Edwards posted online for you, those links will be live. The ONET interest profiler, it's much more about linking, again, skills and interests to jobs. So I like to look at these as two ends of the sort of same process. And what we want to do is make these things meet in the middle. So once we've got an idea of where we're heading in terms of career and major, if we have decided that cyber is the general bubble that we want to exist in, we need to start narrowing that down because as you just heard, there are thousands of things you could do within cyber. So I have two really basic cyber exploration tools that I encourage students to use at the start of their process. And the reason why I encourage these tools over others is because I understand them and I don't know anything about cybersecurity. So I know that you guys who have the passion for cyber and have maybe even started exploring the field will have the knowledge necessary to navigate these if I can do it as a layperson. So the first is called cyberseek.org, and they have two components. The one I've highlighted for you is a career pathways map. So let's say you know that you want to go be a pen tester or a hacker. We can actually look that information up on this site. Not only will it tell us the job titles you could get and the type of professional certifications you need to get a job, it tells you every single skill you need to succeed. And you can use that to pick out classes, whether it's as a part of a college curriculum or a training program at a community college. It's a really easy way to help direct what you're doing towards the careers you're looking into. It's also a great place to generate information for further exploration. To a similar extent, there's a career exploration tool on the NICE website, NICE. That's the National Initiative for Cyber Education. And they've got a million different free resources. I have a few highlighted later for you guys. But the Career Pathways map, again, is a great way to narrow where you may be heading as a cyber individual. Now, I like Cyberseek because it's really clean, really quick, very minimal information. So if you've just started your process, that's a good place to tap into. If you're further along in your exploration, maybe you've already looked at the Cyberseek and you want a second layer, the NICE exploration tool I'll link you to is much more detailed about training resources, how to find jobs, where jobs are available, things about background checks and security clearances. So it gets into a lot of the nuts and bolts. I did want to take a minute to highlight our ODU cyber curricular programming. So these are majors and minors that you can do at ODU. We're primarily an undergraduate program, but we do also have a master's and a doctoral degree on campus. And you'll notice our majors are fairly varied. So we are a bachelor's of science in cybersecurity, and you can either major in cybersecurity or cyber operations. The security track is very, very broad. So I call this the one size fits all degree. There are a million different courses that comprise this program, and you are allowed to a certain extent to pick and choose those classes to make your degree customized to your career pathway. Now we also have operations, which is much, much more focused in computer science and engineering. And these are what I call prescriptive. So there's no real choices with that major. It is specifically directed towards cyber ops. And we have that program actually designed in conjunction with the Navy here locally for cyber operations officers. So the way I look at these two programs is cybersecurity I view as your defense side of things. And as you may know if you've looked into the field, defense is our largest area within cyber. But there is a small area of what we would call more the attack side of things, so that alternate, right? And that's where our cyber operations program picks up. And then we also have a major in cybercrime. That's the Bachelor's of Science in Cybercrime. And this program is more focused for students that are interested in, again, law enforcement, and cyber policy. Very popular for students that are looking to get into any of those alphabet soup agencies like the FBI, DoD, CIA. This program is quite popular for students pursuing that track. And then just as a quick aside, I know this is way, way ahead of where you guys are planning. We do have a master's program on campus in cybersecurity. It's actually a one-year master's program, so it's 30 credits. It does not require previous background in the field to jump in, but it does require that you finish the bachelor's degree first. But we have quite a few students who will finish our cybersecurity program in 3 years and then go finish their master's in 1 and finish both of those degrees when they should have finished that first one. So very exciting, lots of different cool opportunities. And I would be remiss as an ODU rep if I didn't also mention that there are other majors on campus. So we do also have a computer science program as well as an IT program. Computer science for us is housed in our College of Sciences, and what you can expect from that is that it is very sciencey. So we're driven very much by the analytical in that program. Our IT program, interestingly, is under our College of Business, which is a little different than other IT programs at other universities. And our IT program focuses more on enterprise concerns within the field. There's even an enterprise cybersecurity defense concentration under that major. Concentration is like when you add a drop of a specific flavor to your juice or something to mix it up. So there's lots of different ways to approach the fields of cybersecurity. I have an obvious bias towards our program because I worked for this program and I just think we're the best. But there are lots of different ways to approach the field. So we talked a little bit about what ODU has. We talked a little bit about some general career points. I do also like to mention the option of transfer or options for training at our community colleges. So cybersecurity is a field that hasn't quite hit what I call the degree bump. So when I mean degree bump, if you think like way back in the day, all you needed to get out of school and get a job was a high school diploma. And that has since changed. So now we see that most jobs have some sort of gateway to them, whether it's an associate's degree, a certification, a bachelor's degree, you have to have something on file to get the job. And some careers have even moved that to you have to have a master's degree to even touch an entry-level position in the field. Well, cyber is not quite there. Cyber is still in a realm where the proper certifications, the proper hands-on training could theoretically get you a foot in the door for an entry-level position. We are seeing where climbing the career chain is much more difficult without a formal college degree, be that an associate's or a bachelor's. But what I see for cyber is what we've seen with other fields, where that sort of gateway requirement keeps kind of popping up as the years go by and more people get training. So I think a bachelor's degree is a great way to set yourself up for success now and in the near future. But for students that are maybe looking for a way to get into the workforce more quickly and just get that career training, our community colleges in the state of Virginia offer ample opportunity to do so. In addition to having traditional associates of science, which most community college call transferable degrees. So those are degrees that you know you're finishing at like a TCC or JSARG and then immediately transferring to an ODU or somewhere else, but probably ODU because we're the best. Or we also have some career focused programs at the community college. So they're not designed to transfer. They're literally designed to get you a job. And those are generally called career certifications or applied associates, so applying a skill. Interestingly, while traditionally applied associates do not transfer because they're designed to go to the workforce, not schools, many four-year universities have started to create what we call articulation agreements. Now, to toot our horn, ODU is the biggest school in the area, and when I say area, I mean the state of Virginia. We have the largest pool of articulation agreements. We were also one of the first schools in Virginia to start articulation agreements. And what that means when we say articulate, it's like a little action figure. You can move it around and pose it. So when we articulate a degree, we're taking your credits and we're shifting them into the right shape to move into a bachelor's degree. So typically with an applied associates, they do not transfer. You would be transferring to ODU essentially as a freshman. But if you follow the special articulation agreement, you will transfer into ODU as a junior and have your applied career ready associate's degree done. So I do encourage each of you to look into your options. Going straight to college is a great choice for some people, but it's not the right pathway for everybody. I went straight into a university and I had a great time. My husband actually went straight through TCC, a community college, and ended up associates in business and then transferred to a school and did a bachelor's in physics. So his 2 years not only cost him less, but allowed him a chance to do some career exploration while he was at the community college. So look into all of your options, whether it's a cost, whether it's a time, whether it's an applicability to the career you're looking into. There are lots of choices out there versus that traditional, everyone goes to school and gets a bachelor's degree pathway we hear sometimes. And again, while I have a very clear bias to ODU, I'm always happy to go over any of that information if you guys ever want to reach out. I'll have my contact at the end of this actually. And then don't worry about the letter of intent note I have up here. That'll matter more once you get into school. I do also like to briefly mention involvement. I want to give Jakeem time to talk. So actually, I'll skip past this and I'll let my wonderful student who came with us today discuss involvement because he is a ridiculously involved student and is going to have some amazing career opportunities. As I briefly mentioned, I will be sending out the copy of this. So you guys have access to these links. There's a lot of free training for cybersecurity. There's also a lot of really easily accessible scholarships. Most of what I'll include for you is general, so it could go anywhere, but I did also include a specific ODU link just in case anyone's interested. All of the links here, whether it's ODU or a general link for the training resources, are completely free. You can access the ODU Cyber Introduction without any kind of commitment to our admissions office. We don't collect emails, so it's just out there for you guys to look at. And we do have a showcase coming up. I'll send this information out as well. We will have presenters from a variety of universities locally, so ODU will be represented, but we will also have local community colleges as well as other local four-year institutions, and some other cyber students to present, as well as a few employers, which I'm really excited about.
Lenora?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Jakeem just mentioned to me that he has to run early to leave to work. Would it be okay if he shared a few comments now?
This is actually my last slide.
So perfect. Okay.
Take the stage, my friend.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So basically the first thing I wanted to say is that cybersecurity is a very open and broad topic and interest. So the first thing that I recommend you do is to be able to see what kind of work you would like to do. So this falls in a range from technical to analyst to written to policy. There's definitely a lot of different ways you can get into the cybersecurity workforce. So I would definitely look at that and see what you're interested in and what you're interested in doing more focus going on. Because you don't want to be focused in doing technical when you like doing more policy work. So that's something that you should definitely look at. The second thing I'm going to talk about is what Lenore talked about the degree requirements and everything. So the first thing, so a degree for this field it's definitely heavily pushed, but it's not also mainly required. So currently I'm an intern and I intern for the DoD. And so many people that I work with, they only have certifications. They don't have a degree. So if you can get a certification, that's a great step to get into the door into a cyber field. Secondly would be scholarships. So there are scholarships out there. For example, there's the Stoke Scholarship and the Smart DoD Scholarship, where they will pay for your school and they will put you to work as an intern in return for you working for them for a certain amount of years that they pay for your school. And it's full ride and they give you a stipend. Also, I can mention that there's also these something called a CTF, which is cyber capture the flag competitions where you can compete in, and you'll also be able to just gain experience from learning different things about how you can apply cyber to different facets of knowledge. Are there any questions?
Jakeem, I would just ask if students wanted to reach out to you beyond today, just to talk from a student standpoint and perspective, and maybe your experience from when you graduated high school to where you're at right now. Would that be okay for them to reach out to you?
Definitely great. You can write down my number and also my email that I provided to Shannon as well. So my phone number would be 757-693-0935. My email would be jgidd002@odu.edu. And the first thing that I would definitely push heavily for the cybersecurity program and for your interest would just be to look for internships opportunities, because there's always a new opening every day. They're always looking for new growth and new perspective on cybersecurity outlook. So if you can go to any job source of like Indeed or there's the cyber.com. You can honestly find any kind of internship you're looking for just by looking up a few questions. So currently I was a Pathways intern and I'm currently a co-op intern. So that means that I alternate between semesters of school and work and full-time work at the agency. So if you look at NSA co-op program, you'll be able to apply. The application actually open, and they're taking they actually have a high school work study where you can actually start working from high school. So it's a great opportunity, and it's opportunities all around that definitely will help you in your career.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Jakeem, and for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, I'm so happy Jakeem mentioned some of what I call like public service scholarships. So that's where you commit to working for an agency and they'll pay for X amount of years of school depending on your commitment. He's had just an amazing array of different internships so far. I know sophomore sounds like second year, but Jakeem is actually a little bit ahead of that because he's been taking some semesters off to do his work on site. What I found for our students, just as he mentioned, is the degree is not always that last thing you need to get the job or to get your foot in the door. It is skills that will really do that for you, and being able to display those skills. So again, whether it's career training, an official degree track, picking up some online skills before you get your certification, there are a number of ways to enter this field, and there are literally thousands of jobs. Actually, in the state of Virginia, I want to say it's 56,000 jobs right now open, like today, that they cannot fill. Yep. We're second in the nation. I want to say California is 66,000 jobs, and then we're number 2. So there are a lot of jobs out there. We're projected to have a shortfall of 1.8 billion internationally by 2024. So you guys are right at the moment to capitalize on all of these openings and really get into that career field and almost shape what the future of cybersecurity looks like to a certain extent. And as mentioned, this is my last slide. So any questions or anything I could help answer for anybody?
So students, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. That would be fine, or ask them live. And I guess one question I had, Lenora, is for students in high school, or middle school for that matter, are there things they can be doing now that you would recommend, are courses they should be taking, in preparation for a career in cybersecurity?
Absolutely. So regardless of your degree track, whether you stick with an ODU cyber or an ODU CS or another school cyber or CS, mathematics is going to be one of your biggest gateways. Now, math is not necessarily directly involved in many of the fields of cyber, but I like to say that it's cyber adjacent. So math, if you talk with a math instructor, touches on every aspect of life, and the same is true for cyber. So with our program, we mandate a minimum of pre-calculus 1. Now, I know that doesn't sound too bad because when you're in high school, pre-calculus is usually where most people start or get to junior year. But college math can be just a little bit different than your K through 12 math. The first thing that I would be remiss with not mentioning is that we don't allow calculators in most math courses on campus, not even for a function. So most things that you had been doing, usually with the calculator, like sine, cosine, tangent, you'll need to do by hand. So we have some preparatory courses there, but making sure that you've got those foundational math skills. Most programs that are a little more technically focused, so anything that's going to have an engineering base or a computer science base very strictly, you're looking at least a calculus. So making sure that you're prepped for that. I do also personally find that programming languages are just like foreign languages, which means I have a very hard time learning them. So practice is key. If you're a person that does have some difficulty approaching new languages, or even if you've struggled with a math before, starting to prep some programming skills now would be great. I know you guys will have options to take probably some electives or technical electives in school. Some of the free resources I included in my presentation also are introductory, just free coding skills. C++ is generally the language you want to aim for. A lot of places use Java, but C++ is kind of the backbone of most modern programming languages that you'll see out there. So that's a really good one to use. I describe it like driving stick. You can switch to a manual pretty easily. But if you learn the easy way first, it's harder to get those basic skills back in. So any preparatory classes you can do strongly in those programming and math areas would be wonderful. And then it's always good to start getting involved. So I did include on this slide our Facebook group for our school, as well as the Discord to our student organization, if you guys wanted to join. I spoke with Melvin, our current president for the Student Association, and he's fine if you guys want to jump in there and start talking to the current college students. We also have students in that group from around the local area, so it's not just ODU students. We do have students from TCC, ECPI, and a few other schools. So it's a great way to get connected with people and get different perspectives. Because cyber's so broad, opening your horizons and seeing what options are out there is one of the biggest early things you can do to help yourself really solidify where you're going. And then my only other piece of advice would be to reach out if you have questions. I know sometimes reaching out to a random person on a college website can be a little intimidating, or college websites can be crazy hard to navigate. So finding a person can be very difficult. But you are always more than welcome to use me as a point of contact. We have our main School of Cybersecurity page that myself, as well as our 2 faculty leads, follow and monitor. So at any point, if you have questions, you're always welcome to use me as a resource. Even if they're not ODU questions, you just want to talk about cyber as a general field of study, or discuss options at other schools. As an academic advisor, every year I go to a conference regionally to talk with other advisors at schools. So I know people at other institutions, and I'm happy to share that information if it gets you where you need to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I did want to ask, and I'm sure you were already going to do this, if you haven't already, but could you share that flyer on the cybersecurity event with me as well? I think you might have done that before, but if you don't mind sharing it one more time, and I'll make sure that we get it out to all of our students on that event at all of our high schools.
Absolutely. So I'll send you this flyer as well as the RSVP registration link. We do require that you sign up for the event first, but there's no fee or anything like that. We just need to track attendance.
Okay, got it. So we would need to send that out, the link out with the flyer. Okay.
Yes, but we'll take RSVPs up until the day before. So there's not like a time limit there. We just need to know.
Right, right. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today and Jakeem's time. And this has been a wealth of information, and you're right. There's a lot of job opportunities in this field, and now's a great time to be looking into it and thinking about going into this field if you're interested. So thank you for sharing this with us.
Of course, and thank you for inviting me. I'm always happy to come back. This was great.
Okay, well, we'll probably have you back again, so thanks. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, all the other students too. Jennifer, for being here today. And like Lenora said, reach out with any questions to ODU or to us, and we will make sure you get what you need. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.